so important.
No, I don't think so.
What about money?
Good morning and Happy New Year! We survived. If you're watching this, you have to technically survive 2020 because it's 2021, and that's just how this works. And by the time it goes up, it'll be like January 2nd. So you survived the first as well. Congratulations. I hope you feel proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me. I know New Year's is usually kind of a boon that often feels a little bit silly because it's an arbitrary date in the middle of winter and we still have a lot of winter left to go, but I'm personally feeling uplifted. I just popped a champagne bottle with a couple of friends. It was lovely. We had pho. It was delicious. Very, very small. It was not like the biggest party ever. It was not, you know, what you think of for a New Year's party, and yet it was perfect. Exactly what I needed within the rules and circumstances around us, given everything. I don't know, it was great. And I'm just feeling ready for the year. So today I think is a good day if I'm doing well. Out for my first run. My dad asked if we could start the new year right and go for a run on January 1st. So naturally I'm getting mine done first because he's still asleep right now. But getting the new year kicked off right with a little bit of a run, some coffee, and I think we should probably think up some goals for those 2 champagne bottles I bought. Attainable goals, 2020 mindful goals, pandemic mindful goals, but hopefully, actually I already know what one of them is gonna be, and then we'll see about the other one. Now that I think about it, I know exactly what it's gonna be. It's champagne time, not the drinking kind though, don't worry. So traditionally, for those of you that are new around here or came around within the last year and didn't see this last year, or didn't see me open a bottle randomly along the year, because I did open a few of them, every year for the last, 3 or 4 years, I don't even know now, I buy some champagne bottles, usually really cheap champagne bottles, traditionally, and then got to the point where I bought 1 or 2 nice ones, and now I just bought 2 nice ones, because they're gonna be delicious, I'm sure, not super expensive, but you know, nice enough. The whole purpose is to take these boxes or bottles and write on them what my goal for the year is. That was a little bit loud. Because it's a really fun way, you know, to look at your goals for the year. I think we have a lot of resolutions that we never get to. There are bottles that I've never opened along the way, so I definitely don't always get this right. But the new ones, if that's gonna happen, I tend to repurpose so that we make sure that we actually do open them. Not the new ones, the good ones. Did I say the new ones? You know what I mean. Anyways, this is a really pretty bottle. I like this. I don't think I've ever had this brand of champagne before. And the very first thing that I thought, since we're dealing with a black label, I'll use a white pen here, see if this works, was this is the most 2021 goal possible. Successfully vaccinated. That's what I decided to go. I was like, you know what? It's gonna be a really good day when I get my second dose, I'm assuming, of the vaccine, and can think in terms of like, oh, wow, maybe I could actually go see my family now. Maybe I could travel within Europe, even if that's, you know, traveling to America may not be all that readily available. So let's put this here. Uh-oh. This pen doesn't work on, it's a very nice soft finish. I mean, you can read that well enough. At least I'll know which one's in which. The other thing about champagne, I've been told, is that when you store it, you want to store it like on its side, slightly tilted down, if possible. And the reason for that is to keep the cork from drying out. Whether or not that's true, I'm not an expert, but I will be storing it that way. So for the second one, I don't know what to choose yet. And so I thought I was gonna just reflect on it till I had one, but I thought, you know, let's walk through the process. Like, how is it that I go through this normally? How do I think about goals? How do I choose something to write on a bottle of champagne? And then we'll just figure out what it is. I figured that we just do 2 of them this year. What I've done in the past have been goals that are really tightly linked to things that I really do want. And some of them are goals that are kind of scary because they're very likely to fail. Very likely to fail. For example, I've wanted to drop a little bit more weight for a long time. I've come close to succeeding on that goal before in years past. Never quite hit the goal that I set for myself. And that champagne got disgusting, and I think we ended up just kind of getting rid of it at some point. But the weight loss one is one that I'm not going to do this year. I gained a little bit of weight in 2020. Some of it I think is muscle. My legs are looking great from all the mileage this year, but I definitely feel a little bit paunchy in the middle. So I'd like to get rid of that. I'd love to get into a gym and start working out, but that can't happen until the vaccines And I don't know, I was on a track towards working out a lot more at the end of 2019. And then obviously 2020 happened. And you can't, it's hard to work out when you're in lockdown in a tiny space like this. I'm sorry. I just hate it. It's like cooking here. I hate that too. I love working out. I love exercising, but I'm not going to get my room all disgusting and sweaty every day. And I can't even reach above my head. Anywho. It's good coffee. Another one was a book that I wrote a while back that Richard and I were revising and that I would like to release, but everything's changed with the publishing strategy. If you followed along with the podcast last year and you followed along a little bit with the publishing journey on the fiction, the science fiction, the fantasy, that side of things, it's all kind of taken a completely different strategy. And I honestly has just been paused. So that could be a contender, is just to draft a new book, because I haven't written a new book in a long time. And for those of you, again, that haven't been around long enough, I think these are all the books I've written, although this one doesn't count, minus the Sea of the Unknown. This is all the fiction that I've written in the past. So I've written a few along the way. And I used to try, my goal originally was to publish a book every year for 10 years, because I thought that would be a really good way of getting, my skill set up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sea of the Unknown counts as 9. This could count as 10, but it's never been published. And that's like a book on the history of magic in my world, which is kind of absurd and handwritten. The whole thing's completely handwritten. And I've written a couple other manuscripts, including Agnar's Box. And so one of the old goals, which the bottle was in there for a long time, it might still be over there. This is bound to be absolutely disgusting. I'm sure it didn't taste good when it was bottled, but now it's not going to be any good. So Agnar's Box, the weight loss bottle, was over there too. So they stand as reminders of your failures along the way as well. But the whole idea was to sell this. I thought, you know what, at the beginning, so a few years ago now, I was like, I want to sell Agnar's Box. Like, I've never traditionally published a book. I wrote this book. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of like The Perfect Storm meets Alien meets, what's the name of that book? Flowers for Agnon? Flowers for Algernon? I can't remember anything right now. Anyways, Algernon? It's a good short book. But the whole idea was to sell that, like find an agent, get it sold to a publisher, and at least have one book out in traditional publication with not really any plans to traditionally publish anything else anytime soon, but to go through that experience, to have that experience, and to maybe get a little blue, tick next to my name at some point along the line. And nobody wanted it. I didn't query forever on it. I queried probably, I would guess, 20 agents and went nowhere. And that's normal. That's the way that the process goes. And I quit for 2 reasons. One was because, I just kind of hated the process of querying. It was overwhelming, and it's a hard one. A lot of people have done it and overcome it, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. And the other was because, as Richard and I were talking about our strategy for publishing all these books and how we want to go about it, and like how I really want to go about it, I have some really big ambitions, but also I want to do a lot of legwork before publishing. Just because I feel like I took the other track for a long time where I published without really thinking too far ahead into what I was doing. And also because, there's just a really cool opportunity with all the books that I have written and can rework all the books that are yet to be written, some that have been written and haven't been released, all of that, to really rework it, massage it, and release it in a very intentional way in time. And so I stopped querying. Am I still open to it? Yes. And that was a good candidate because it's a standalone book that has a lot of really far-reaching implications just from what happens within it. But it's a fun little one-off. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm not in a rush. I used to be in a rush, I think, and I'm not in a rush. I've changed. I've grown, one might argue. I don't know. I would rather take my time and actually craft something slowly over time and then release it. And I think that I had been kind of on a sprint to get through. So writing a new book is a candidate for pop in a bottle. Just to have a first draft complete even of a new book. When I go to this artist residency in Orcavo, that will probably be my goal, will just be to sit and draft a book in that month, which is very, very, very doable. And I want to do some work leading up to that to make that more possible. So that could be one thing. Other goals have been things like launching the podcast and launching a second podcast. So I think that one of the bottles was completing the first season of Building the Oracle, which we did. We had a lot of fun. We popped that bottle. And the other bottle was launching The Council, which is another podcast that I still want to do. I still really want to do it. I just ran out of energy and 2020 happened and I didn't feel like I had the right setup to really just get it going. And I feel like that actually is kind of emblematic of how this whole year has gone, is that feeling of stagnation and like having great dreams and ideas and aspirations, but no real way to make them reality. And so I still want to do those podcasts. Do I think they're really going to happen this year? I mean, they could. Am I going to put myself under that much pressure to make it like a goal? No, I don't think so. Like, I want to do some work to get closer to it. But I have other projects that I'm working on, other things that I'm, trying to give energy to, and I want to get there, but like, just don't feel like I'm there yet. There's so much cool stuff that I wish I could be doing. I want that. There's life's too short. There's not enough time in the day, and there's too much pandemic going on. Running distance is a goal that I managed to do this year. I failed the year before, reduced my goal, and then overshot it and met the goal before. So the running 600 miles this year was really good. I felt really good about that. I don't want to wait an entire year to pop a bottle. I thought about doing a good candidate could be running another couple half marathons. I'm not really that interested in running a full marathon, to be honest. I like my knees too much, but that could float in there. And especially now that I realized wow, I could actually go run. If I wanted to tomorrow, I could just go run a half marathon and not worry about it. I wouldn't be breaking any records, but I could go out and run a decent pace the whole time. That's kind of illuminating in a way. It's for one, it's wow, holy cow, I never thought that I would get to this point. And the other side of it is, wow, I never thought that I would actually be thinking oh, well, then I should probably do a marathon. And I knew that would happen. I knew the day, if I ever ran a half marathon and I liked it, I could be done for. So we will see. But I'm not that. I don't think that's the best candidate either. And ultimately what I want them to be is celebratory, and they have to be measurable and achievable, right? The goals that I'm setting. So that's what's fun about the vaccine is it's a very 2021 and it's celebratory. It's not a real goal that I have to work towards, but I kind of do. I have to wait, I have to be patient, I have to keep wearing my mask. We'll have to keep wearing masks after we're vaccinated. I'm sure they're here to stay for a while, but I want to be smart. And I've been fortunate enough, as far as I know, I have never contracted COVID-19. I'm very lucky to be able to say that. And we're so close to the end. I think it's a good way of reminding myself, don't be stupid. I'm trying to find this balance where I don't want to be totally alone, living alone in this tiny house. I didn't see anybody at the beginning of the year for months, right? I took the lockdown seriously. I was trying to set a good example and I didn't see anybody. And I'm glad that I did that, but I also realized that, oh wow, that I'm going to go crazy. It's really, really bad for me at the same time to be completely isolated for that long. Thankfully, I have you. Thankfully, I have the internet. But not enough. I need, to be around other people, at least some. So I've tried to find a really a slow, safe way of spending some time with people, especially outdoors. I'm gonna go take some photos with some friends by the Eiffel Tower here this afternoon is the plan. So it's really nice to go outside for most of those times. And so having this bottle is a good reminder that I have this goal of not getting it. It might happen, and things happen outside of our control, but to try and be smart, to try and continue to take it seriously, and then I can pop this bottle once I'm vaccinated, and that is going to be a really good feeling, and that's motivating. So I think that's a good one. It's very timely, especially for remembering the past. When in years to come, when we look back on these bottles, being I'm glad that it's on the nose. But for this one, I want it to be something a little bit lighter and more fun, but also a reminder. One of the reasons that I started vlogging daily was because I wanted to make video a part of my life again. And that was a really good way of introducing more discipline into my life as well. I've been thinking about it. I need to make a video. I was obviously, as I've talked about, super demotivated in December, and I didn't want to do anything. And I wanted to, but didn't want to make a video about my experience posting a photo every day. So I do want to make a video about what it was like to post a photo every day for over 10 years, because I hit my 10-year anniversary in December. And that discipline is something that I wouldn't say that it carried me anywhere, but it came with me through some of the hardest and darkest times of my life. And I'm really, really grateful that I did that and I kept it going. Vlogging every day was a way of bringing that back in. And I had to force myself to make video something that was a tangible part of my life again, because it's really easy to let go. And I tend to go through seasons. Unlike writing, where I could always write, video was something that I didn't really want to do all the time, year round. I would make some videos, have a lot of fun, and take a break. And then make some videos and then take a break. So it's a really good way to discipline myself into doing video all the time and improving the skill set, hopefully. Then I've not been writing. I don't think I've written a new book since I really started vlogging daily. I finished some books that I was working on. I submitted some books to a publisher that had asked for them, and they rejected those too. I've worked on a lot of writing, but like I didn't really start anything new. And I have some really big ideas. I have some really big series that I want to write. I have some really fun stories to tell. At least I think they're fun, and I think about them all the time. And it's what I think about when I'm in the shower, and you know, like I have to wake up in the middle of the night and take notes, that kind of stuff. But I haven't really put pen to paper. I haven't really written anything except for one day on vacation on my old computer that got stolen. Thankfully, I should have a version of it in email, but that's a goal. Back your computer up, Jay. Back it up this time. So I think reintroducing writing into things would be really good. And drafting a first draft of this book this year, one of the books, I think it would be, I know which book that I want to start on. It's the one I already started on. But just completing the manuscript, the complete full first draft of a new book in 2021 would be a great way to start things off and reintroduce my love of writing into my life in a great way that, again, would be a really satisfying bottle to pop and to share, with Richard, who's going to end up editing it, I'm sure, and with whoever we're allowed to be around by that point. So that's pretty exciting. So I think those are the two bottles. I'll write that. What's going to be the most fun and the most exciting? There we go. You can try to decipher what those letters and so forth mean, I suppose. But there we go. Book 1, draft 1, complete. I like that. I like that a lot. I just want to I want to return to creativity this year. I want a return to hope. I want a return to community. There's no, like, the lights at the end of the tunnel, we still have tunnel to get through. And it's going to be bumpy. I mean, the rollout of the vaccine here in France has not been great so far. So we'll see where we end up and how long it takes us to get there. But I'm feeling hopeful. I'm very grateful that I'm feeling that way coming out of a dark December and leaning into, I hope, a brighter 2021. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to come. But I want to stop and enjoy every minute of every day that I can and put that energy and that focus into people that I love and things that I love to create. And I think that's probably a good way to sum up what I'm hoping for 2021. And I'm sure there are more details and other things going on. Maybe I'll get a dog someday. I still kind of want a dog. I don't know that I'm legally allowed to have a dog with my lifestyle, really. And if not legally, I mean ethically, but you know what I mean. So anyways, with that, I'll go get you a couple Eiffel Tower shots to round out this whole video, because that's fun. It is it's not really sunny, but it's a decent weather day out there. So I'm gonna stick to that other mantra of getting out and seeing something on sunny days. Although it's hard to tell when it's sunny from my room because I kind of live in a cave. But I will see you bright and early, probably tomorrow morning. I've got a bunch of videos that I want to make that I've been meaning to make from home. I'm starting to feel the energy to do that again. And I can't wait to share 2021 with you. Let me know what your goals are in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you're doing. If you're going to do the champagne bottle thing, what did you write on your champagne bottle? That'd be awesome to know. And wouldn't be proper to start the new year without thanking a patron producer today. So let me find a random one. I'm going to actually go in and the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to hit my notifications and I'm going to scroll. The problem is I'm going to end up scrolling down to somebody who deleted their patronage, and that's going to be the patron producer. Wouldn't that be awkward? Anyways, I'm scrolling through. We'll see somebody who left a comment, somebody who became a new patron, somebody who is just engaging with me on Patreon. I've stopped right here. Karen B. On November 22nd, can you see that? On November 22nd, that's where my finger stopped. On November 22nd, 2020, you liked an audiobook chapter, and now you get to be the patron producer of the day. Shout out to everybody else who's on the screen there too, and shout out to all my patrons in general. You're the ones that you've made so many of my goals. Like, one of my goals is to go full-time creative, and that happened a couple of years ago, and I got to pop a champagne bottle for that. That was super exciting, and that's thanks largely, if not almost entirely, to you, my patrons. So thank you so much for being here. Man. I've got a good energy. I've got a good feeling. And I want to hold on to that. So I'm going to hold on to that. I hope that you have it a little bit here today too. Let me know what you're up to in the new year in the comments below. And I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for something. We'll see what it is. We made it. We survived. We survived 2020. So whatever it is tomorrow is going to be great. And I'll see you for that.